Well, hello everybody. You join me in Stinger again. It's again raining outside when I'm recording this, so probably, not gonna show it. But anyways, I don't know. I don't need to make this video, but I don't know. It's my channel, so I can speak on it. But I basically just want to talk about, like, my opinion on the current supercar, hypercar, like, design language, I guess. I probably have an unpopular opinion with this, but I don't know. And I guess these criticisms could fall on deaf ears because I'm not a buyer of these cars, so, like, who cares about my opinion? But, we're human beings, we like sharing our opinions. So, yeah, the new Bugatti Tourbillon launched today. And let me first off say, these cars, these two, I guess three, but especially two of these cars that I'm going to talk about are great cars. I'm not knocking the cars. They're fantastic. Well, I guess I don't know that, but I think that they're fantastic. So here's my problem with modern designs, and I think this started with McLaren. Ferrari does it a little bit. Porsche has always had cars that look really similar to each other, but they've done it for so long that, like, it's okay. And they make so many different cars that so many different levels of cars, and their cars are not $4 million, that it doesn't really matter as much, in my opinion. But here's what I'm going to say, is if you look at the evolution of Bugatti, right? Let's even just start in the 90s with the EB110. That car looked the way it did. And then the Veyron came out in the 2000s. That car looked radically different from the EB110. And, it had its different variants, the convertibles, Grand Sports, blah, blah, blah. Then comes the Chiron. And the Chiron was a way different design language. And I'm just talking about design language here. I'm not talking about mechanics, engine, gear, but, like, none of that. I'm just talking about how the car looks. The Chiron from the Veyron was a massive departure. They don't look pretty much anything alike. Like, they have the center grille and whatever, that is obviously Bugatti. But other than that, they really don't look alike at all. I mean, they're very, very different looking cars. So, to that point, this new Bugatti for me, one, I think is going to be a bitchin' car. Like, a flat plane crank V16, naturally aspirated, all-wheel drive with electric motors. Like, it's gonna be bonkers. This car is gonna be insane. And let me start by saying, I think it looks good. I think it's a very nice looking car. So, yeah. With that being said, my opinion on the design is that it is a facelifted Chiron. It is way too similar in body language, in styling, in length, in width, like everything. Obviously, the back is literally copied from a Mistral with a different diffuser. Like, it looks way too much like a Chiron. It looks like and in my opinion, it is an uglier Chiron. I think the Chiron looks better than that car. And I say that to say that, like, I know that if I was in the position to buy that car, which obviously I'm not, but if I was, these things have a starting price of $4 million US, okay? Like, again, it's going to deliver performance-wise. It does look good, but it literally just looks like Chiron 2.0. It just, like, I'm sorry, but it does. It looks way too much like a Chiron. It's the same thing that I said about the Utopia and the Huayra, except the Utopia and the Huayra is even worse to me. The Utopia is not a pretty car. In my opinion, that thing is ugly. Like, I personally do not like that car, the way it looks, at all. I think the Huayra is arguably one of the best looking cars ever made. And Pagani had 10 years, a decade, to come up with another car. And they came up with a plastic looking copy of the Huayra. Now, I will say that the Utopia, Pagani did not help the Utopia by launching it in the color that they launched it in, because that was probably the worst color choice to launch a car I've ever seen. That shit was hideous. But I have seen Utopias in person. I've seen plenty of photos. I've seen different specs, and I still don't like it. It looks like a cheap plastic version of the Huayra. It is a similar design, and you can't deny that. They both are very square-ish. You know, they're similar in length, but like the Utopia, you know, the Huayra had curves. It went up and down, and the Utopia is literally like, it's like a chiseled square. Like, it's so ugly. I think the Utopia is hideous. And I say that to say that, like, it is very obviously based on the Huayra. The Zonda and the Huayra, they share, headlights? Pretty much. I mean, you know, their headlights look similar. But other than that, like, they're pretty different. You know, they look very different. The Utopia is obviously based on the Huayra design-wise, but it's so much uglier. Like, it is... I don't know what they were thinking, but that car is ugly. So, that is now the second car, the second hypercar. And you know, like I said, if these cars were $100,000, it wouldn't matter. Because it's like, whatever, it's $100,000. $4 million? $3 million? 10 years of development, blah, blah, and that's what you come up with? Like, you know, again, I think McLaren started this thing where it's like every car looks the same. McLaren used the same headlights in every model for, like, almost a decade. I mean, it was, like, ridiculous. And it's the same thing. The 750S is a stupid car. It's like, it's literally a 720S with a 765 rear. What is the point? Like, you're calling it an all-new car, and it is not an all-new car. Like, it's ridiculous, and that's why no one's buying them. Like, it's just dumb. And it's just concerning because it's like, I don't know. It's not good to see multiple companies of multi-million-dollar cars from new, not resale, making these cars after so long that just look like the previous car with slightly different body panels. You know, don't get me wrong. I know that the technology is moving forward, and the Utopia being a manual V12, awesome. Great, and I'm sure that it is a great car. You know, I know it's fast. I've watched a couple videos of people driving it, and they say it's awesome to drive. I believe them. But it is so ugly. Like... And then the 812 Cilindri from Ferrari, again, is so ugly. That car, I'm sorry, but it is like... I will say the Spider looks a lot better to me for some reason. I don't really even know why. Maybe it's the roofline, but the Spider to me looks better, which is interesting because I'm the opposite on the 812 Comp. I think the Comp A looks weird with the like cut off flat roofline, and I think the Comp Coupe looks a lot better with it just like flowing into the back. But the 812 Cylindri, one stupid name. Like, or it's not 812 Cylindri, the 12 Cylindri. Stupid name. Like, seriously? But, I don't know. It just, the design language is just so not there anymore. You know, the F8 and the 488 look so alike. Like, I don't know. It's just, cars are becoming so cookie cutter, and it's like, you can't say that about a Ferrari or a Bugatti or a Pagani, but it's like, I just don't know what happened to the design language. And again, maybe this is just me, but like, the interesting thing for me is like brands like Koenigsegg, their earlier cars all looked alike. Like the CC8S and the CCR look really similar. The CCX looks like a CCR with updated headlights. I mean, like, they all look really similar. And then the Agera comes out and it's way different. You know, and then obviously the variants of that are the same. And then the Regera comes out and it's way different. And then the Jesko comes out and it's it's like all of their cars look different except for their early ones. They are able somehow to come up with new cars that all look new. They all look different from each other. They all look unique. And it's like, I understand that Bugatti has its signature design language. Like, I get it. But it's not going to be lost on people. Like, you can keep the signature Bugatti grille and whatever, but it's like, that car is a facelifted Chiron with a different, with different internals. And like I said, like, the internals are a big deal. Like, that car is going to be insane. I'm not knocking it. And I don't even think it's ugly. I think it looks good. I think the Utopia is ugly. I think the Tourbillon looks good. It just looks the same. And for me, if I was spending $4 million base before any customization or whatever, like, I want the car to look different from the one that I already own. You know, it looks the same to me. It looks like a facelifted, think of it like an R8, right? You can see an R8, you know it's an R8, you can see two different generations of the R8, you know they're both R8s, but they have slightly different bumpers, slightly different rears, you know, they have a facelifted, you know, different headlights. It's literally that. They have the same general shape, but they follow the same DNA. But these are not supposed to do that because it's a different car. The R8 2017 is not the R8 2014. It's different model years, but it's the same car. So it makes sense that they look similar, but different. This car is not a 2026 Chiron. It's a brand new car, but it literally looks like a facelifted Chiron. Like, it just, I don't know. It worries me about the future of the design of cars because it's just, there's no, like, creativity is going away. And, like, I also understand that engineering has limits. Obviously, they're, you know, pushed and broken all the time. But they do, you know, engineering has limits. And so there's only so much change you can do to cars, and I get that. But, like, it's $4 million, man. Like, it looks great. It sounds great. I guarantee it's going to drive like a dream, and it's going to be fast as hell. But if you parked a Chiron next to that car, you would think that it is the same car, just a different model year. You just would. Like, anybody that doesn't know cars, that is what they will think. They will think, oh, this is the, whatever, the older Chiron, and this is the newer Chiron. That's what they're going to think. They look not exactly the same, but they look way too similar. They just, I don't know. And then the Utopia is going backwards. Like, that car's, I don't know. Again, maybe it's just me, but like, that car's hideous. The Huayra looks 100 times better than that car. So, I don't know. And the 12 Cilindri, again, I think that's design-wise a miss from Ferrari. I will say, when the Daytona SP3 came out, I was not a huge fan of it. Like, I thought it looked kind of weird. That car massively grew on me. I still think the back is a little much. But, like, I think that car is actually beautiful. And I didn't like it when it came out. I was like, wow, that thing's really ugly. But now, I think it looks really good. So maybe my opinion will change. It's not going to change on the Utopia. That car is just ugly. And I don't think that the Tourbillon is ugly. It just looks way too similar. And I'm not the only person that thinks this. I looked on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, and like over half of the comments are saying it's just Chiron 2.0. And people responding to those are saying, you don't know anything about cars if you think it's Chiron 2.0. There's no part. I understand there's no parts shared with the car. It's not a Chiron. It's totally different. It's not even the same engine. But aesthetically, it looks like Chiron 2.0. It just does. Like, it's not ugly. It looks great. It's just too similar. I don't know. It just, even the Revuelto, like, that car looks so much like a Scion, it's insane. Granted, the Scion came out first, but, like, those two cars look really similar. Yeah, I don't know. I guess from the front, they look similar. From the back, the Scion is, I guess, a lot different and way more extreme. But either way, like, from the front, they look pretty close, So it's not just, Lamborghini's doing it too. I don't know. That's just how I feel, These new hypercars come out, and they're super exciting cars and everything else. They all, if I was spending $4 million, I would want it to look unique. And it doesn't. It doesn't look unique from a Chiron. It looks unique as a car, obviously. But, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I think it's not that cars are becoming more ugly or anything like that. There's so much lost creativity from brands that I'm seeing, in my opinion, that it's just, I don't know. It's slightly concerning, I guess. For me, anyways. So, I don't know. Feel free to chime in and let me know what you think, but that's my personal opinion. For that price point, I just think it's, I don't know. The Chiron was inspiring, design-wise, to me, and the Tourbillon is not. It's just, it doesn't inspire anything in me. It just, I saw it, and I was like, well, looks like a facelifted Chiron. Like, it's a mix of a Mistral and a Chiron, and I think it looks worse. It looks cool, and I do think it looks good, but I think it looks worse. So, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe creativity is not going away. But at least for those three specific cars, the 12 Cilindri, especially the Utopia, and the new Bugatti, I don't know. Koenigsegg can do it. You know, the Jesko is a new car completely internally and externally from all their other cars. They can do it. Why, you know, like, why can't these other brands do it? So, we'll see, you know. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. The next time you see the Stinger on video, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. The next time you see a video about the Stinger, it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be complete quite soon, which is exciting. So, yeah, look out for that. Anyways, I don't know. Till next time. Bye.